Hello everybody, I'm GHG and welcome to this brand new tutorial series. And as you might have already read in the title, it's going to be about Sony Vegas. I'm using the Sony Vegas Pro Edition 14, which I picked up with a Humble Bundle a while ago. But you can also use other versions, they look kinda similar. Maybe the icons have changed or the menus have changed slightly. But if you do have any problems with that, just join the Discord and ask me questions. I will Google it for you if you can't Google it yourself. Enough talking, let's get into actual editing our videos. Because what we are going to do in today's video is I'm going to teach you how to import your videos, how to cut them, and how to render them. Nothing fancy, just the basics, so that you can get started with cutting and rendering your own videos. Because there's a whole lot of things to see here. By the way, if your view is not the same as mine, you can go into the view menu at the left top and you can then go to window layout and select default layout. That will just bring up this default layout. And before I'm going to explain anything about what is going on over here, I'm going to show you how I like to import my videos, because there are multiple ways of importing your video material or your image material, your source material, so to say. And I like to do it by going into the folder where I have my source material, and I've just recorded two clips of me playing Overwatch, just simple, boring footage. And I'm just going to select them or drag them one by one inside of the project media area over here, left top. I'm going to drag the other one in as well. As you can see, they both get put over here. And that's just importing your videos. It's really easy. This way you can also import it by going into file and import and then media, but just drag them in. That's way easier. And that's it for importing. It's that easy. You do not have to use any of the other layout stuff yet, and we just imported our video elements. But there's nothing to edit yet, because now we're going to the bottom part over here, the huge part over here with the zeros and the 10s and the 19s and the 29, etc, etc. This is your actual timeline. So over here you're going to do all the editing. Let me explain. If I pick one of my source material, so the first clip, I'm going to drag it over here. And as you can see, I'm just going to put it right over there at the start. Let me select no on that. I will explain that later with the rendering, because it asks whether you want to set default properties for your source material, but I do not really care since we're going to render it in a other way anyway. So as you can see over here, I've dragged it down over here and suddenly my footage shows up over here, because this is the preview window. So we've got the project media window over here, we've got the timeline window over here, we've got the preview, and it's set to half the resolution. If you want to have a higher preview quality, you can of course go to full or whatever you like. I just keep it at half because then I can clearly see what's going on. We're also seeing that it's quality. And as you can see over here, let me just quickly scroll through the clip over here, because if you click in this window, this little bar will go to where you clicked, and that's actually where you're at now in the video. So I'm now at this scene over here, all the way here, and you can see over here it's 24 seconds in and 6 frames. And if I drag it, it will just show you that there's 30 frames per second, not the highest record quality. That's because my graphics card couldn't handle 60. I'm sorry. And as you can see, I can slowly drag through the source material, and I actually want to cut out a part because it's me running around killing a bunch of robots, and then I'm just walking upwards and I fall off the ledge, and that's not really interesting because I have to walk back and I want to cut out that part. So what we are going to do is we're going to go we're going to select the video clip, and I'm going to drag this bar, this timeline bar, just on the frame where I want to cut my video. So that will be before I jumped off. So I'm jumping off over here. So I'm going to cut it, let's say over here. When I walk up the stairs, I'm going to split up the video so that I can cut out a little part of our clip. And there's two ways of doing it. You can either right click and then click split over here, or as you can see, there's a shortcut, the letter S on your keyboard. So I'm going to press the letter S over here, and then it's going to cut my video. As you can see, there are now 2 clips. I can separate them by moving them along the timeline. And let me just find another frame. So I'm going to scroll through the clip again up until the moment I'm on the stairs again. I'm going to press S again. You can now just either press delete to delete it, or if you are worried that you might need it later, just drag it out a little and drag this in. And maybe you've noticed that I have two types of things on the timeline. Well, there's a video source up above, and there's 2 audio sources because I record my gameplay sound and my voice on different audio tracks. I will explain that later when we are going to use those tracks to alter certain things. Okay, now that we have cut the boring part out of our clip, let me just play the clip. You can do that over here with the play button in the preview and see it over here. As you can see, the sound is now going on, and it was almost perfect cut. You didn't even notice it. That's how good of an editor I am. Okay, let me just scroll through it again, and as you can see, I just walk forward and I die. So I want to cut out that part too. Let me just cut it out over here. And let me actually delete those. And as far as the second clip goes, just drag it in. You can attach it to our first clip. And then as you can see, I was playing around with my settings of the recording. So I stood still for a moment before I went on shooting. And let me just cut that out as well over here, which makes it much more interesting. And then I can just scroll through and the action stops about here. So let me just cut out that as well. And that's actually how easy it is to cut your videos. I got 2 tracks, you probably got 1 track. Doesn't really matter for now. And yeah, that's just about the cutting. So we have done the importing over here. You drag it onto your timeline. You just use S as a keyboard shortcut. You should really use those keyboard shortcuts because they really improve the rate at which you can edit those videos. Okay, now about rendering. I'm not going to go over render settings, just how to render your videos. So this is the preview. I'm happy now with how the clip looks, me running around killing a bunch of robots. And now I need to render it to make it an actual video. And top left, you can see over here, render as. It's like a little file with an arrow pointing upwards and out. And I'm going to click that. And as you can see, let me just go into what you see over here. You can also do favorites, but I will explain that in a sec. And there's a couple of render options, but I like to do a .mp4, so the main concept, AVC, AAC. If you do not see a couple of those because QuickTime, you can only see those if you have QuickTime installed, which I have because of various reasons. But I always like to choose main concept, AVC, AAC. Then I click on it and I scroll down to Internet HD 1080p. And if you plan on using something a lot, then you can just do it as a favorite. And if you click on show favorites only, then it will just pop up. As you can see over here, make sure render loop region. Might have gotten and made a mistake with the loop region. Only make sure to deselect that. And make sure to choose the title. This is going to be video try out 1, and I'm going to paste it over there. Over here you can select which folder you want to render it in, and I'm going to press render, and it's going to render. You can see time remaining, elapsed time, and over here it will go through it one by one. And let me just skip ahead to the end of the rendering. Okay, Vegas has finished rendering now, and what I always like to do is check whether my video has rendered correctly. So I'm going to press open. It's going to open up the video. Let me just mute the video so that you can still hear my voice. As you can see, our beautiful video has now been added. Congratulations on editing your first video, or not, maybe not your first, but you like to recap on how Sony Vegas works. And I hope you enjoyed. If you did, or if you want to see more, let me know down below in the comment section what you like to see me cover with this series. Hit the like button too. Let me know that you liked it. Subscribe to get get notified of any following videos. Of course you want that because this is going to be a great series. And I want to thank you for watching. See you next time. And for those who've paid attention, over here there's a black border. Yeah, we're going to fix that in the next episode. See you then. Bye.